Okay, so in true Army fashion, I'll do this with a PowerPoint presentation. Here's what we're going to talk about today: reception, and a little packing list and extra tips, and also some extra content. On to reception. This will be a 7 days process typically, even though it could be as fast as 1 day if you're lucky. And this will be one of your worst Army experience that you will ever have in your life. You'll have your first bus ride, first real sergeant you ever meet, and then gear issue. During this process, you'll be given all the gear you ever need in your Army career. Secure them and put your name on them. Everything that you own. Do not lose any bit of these gears. You will have to pay for them when you leave the Army. Haircut, basic shopping, everything you ever need. The tip here is that you should not overpack. When I get to the packing list at the end of this video, you'll see why. You also have no sleep. So the tip is try to sleep. This goes for more than just reception and BCT, and frankly, your Army career. And within these 7 days, you'll get your ID pig, your admin stuff, medical, your pay, and also your boot and your boot checks. The tip here is that to make sure that your boots fit. Trust me, you want to make sure that they fit. If they fit you tight, where your little toes curl up just like that, make sure you get half a size larger. There should not be any room for them to wiggle, because that would be too big. But if they can't move and have to curl like that, then you are a size or half a size too small. Ask for bigger size. The people there, they can give you a lot of shit for it, but stay put and wait for them to give you another size. And do not move your ass out of that chair until you get a nice fitting pair of boots. The Ziploc bags that you get during this time, keep them. They'll come in handy for organizing and packing later. And that's basically it for reception. 7 days of just waiting around and sending information, and just hell, this is the worst part. You made it this far, you're gonna make the BCT just fine. After that is over, you get your platoons assigned for BCT. You'll most likely stay with the guys that are in your reception platoons, and you'll get shipped out. New drill sergeant will start screaming at you as soon as the bus get there, and you'll do your first 100 yards, which is like a little ritual instead of the classic shark attack that they used to do back in the good old days, where they get a lot worse. And with that, you're now on to red face, the very beginning of BCT. Your typical day involved waking up early to do PT. PT often involved a warm-up called PRT, and then you'll do mostly training for the ACFT, which is required for you to pass basic training. You'll also run depending on the weather conditions. So if you join up during the summer months where it's a little hotter, you may not even do that much PT. You'll then have breakfast, get changed, and get ready for the main training of the day. You'll get 3 meals a day. Lunch is usually served in the field with portable meals called hot ass or an MRE. More on this later. And you'll have dinner after training. If you eat in the DFAC, you'll be moved in an orderly fashion and be herded like animals. You'll be fed with generous portions, ample eating time of about 10 to 15 minutes since the moment you set your ass down. Most people will never eat normal again. The day will then typically end with mail call, then free time for laundry and hygiene, and then bedtime. All the while, you will be smoked, with smoking session in between all these events. You will get smoked for nothing. And trust me, you will get smoked for the most dumbest fuck reason, just because the drill sergeants can, and they will. You'll have a shared laundry room for the whole company. You'll typically have a schedule between males and females. They would have the 2 laundry rooms separated. Each had about 10 to 15 washers and dryers each. And so you would have 2 platoons using each laundry room on these separated days. And on Sunday, you would have all the males in one room and all the females in the other. So here's a little tip. Don't lose your shit. Avoid Sundays and do your laundries early, especially in the summer months where it's a little hotter and you want to wash them after every use. And so, with the 3 sets of PT clothes that you're given, you probably want to do laundry every 2 days. The way I found it to be most effective, it's to bring your laundry bag early in the morning before first formation. Go downstairs, get them in there, start them, and then get on first formation. They should take about half an hour to an hour to be done. You'll typically have hit times in between events. After breakfast, go to the laundry room, move your clothes to the dryer, and then head off to change into your OCP before you move on to the day. Hand washing is also recommended if you feel the need to. Just take some hand soap, wash them in the sink, sprinkle all the water out as much as you can, and then hang them by your bunk bed by the end of the day, and you'll be good. So your bay have about 60 guys split between 2 platoons, bunk beds with showers and fire guard. Fire guard is what they call a night guard, where you have typically 2 guys doing shifts of 1 hour each. So you would wake up the next 2 guys doing the next shift, and it would rotate every night. The trick here is to be a team player. Pull your own weight, do your job, then take care of others when you can. Don't be a selfish son of a bitch. Make some friends that will last your way through BCT and beyond. During Red Phase, you will have a lot of briefs by battalion commander, first sergeant, and the company commander on various issues that you'll be exposed to in the army. Sundays you will have church, or you can just chill in your bay. You can choose what you value more, your belief or your sleep, which is very important as well. You'll also have phone time. Bear in mind that there is only about 30 slots for 200 people. You can do the math. The tip here is to bring extra power bricks and wired earbuds. I imagine you want to talk to your family after a whole week of not talking to them, and I imagine that the other 200 trainees also want to do the same, so it gets noisy. Also, a little sidetrack here is that you want to choose your time to join carefully. If you join around the summertime where kids who just got out of high school, or they're still in high school and want to do something over the summer, they can be annoying as hell. They haven't been taught how to live right, how to act right. So be careful. If you join during the winter, it's very cold, and you'll do a lot of exercise in the cold. So if you can, try to choose a good time to join. And also volunteer for details. Throughout your time in BCT, you'll get asked to do details by your drill sergeant. And typically, if you're on detail, you get away with a lot of bullshit. You won't get smoked, and you can just be chill. And drill sergeant will be pretty chill with you as well. You also get more gear during Red Phase. And one of the pieces of gear you get is your sleeping bag. Use them ASAP. These will save you time, and they are comfy as hell. You will stay warm. The bay gets cold for some reason, even during the summer. They will crank the AC down so cold that you will always catch a cold, and people always get sick during these times. The main thing here is to maximize your efficiency and optimize everything for more time saved. If you have your sleeping bag on top of your already made bed, in the morning you only have to do minor adjustments, and you have more time to do personal hygiene, such as shaving, shitting, and maybe even a shower if you can. Remember that after waking up for 30 minutes, that's all you have to do your hygiene, take your shit, shave, make your bed, change if you have to, and then get your ass downstairs for first formation, which sounds like a lot of time, but trust me, in the morning things goes by fast. So use your sleeping bag to save you extra minutes, and also use your fleece jacket for more warmth and comfort. And also, your camel bag makes for an excellent pillow in case you want to take a nap somewhere, such as your Sunday where you have the bed to yourself. You can just lay it down on the floor and take a quick nap. During this process, you'll have your assigned weapons, your gas mask, and if you are doing naturalization for your citizenship, you'll start your process right here. I'll touch down on citizenship later at the end of this video. You also have your platoon duty week, which is when you have each platoon doing various jobs, serving food, or getting up early and prepared, clean, and stuff like that for that 1 week. They rotate after every Sunday. You only need about 5 to 10 people for each duty, but just make sure you're doing something and not sitting around all the time, because people will notice, and you might end up on that list of bad trainees. You don't want to be there. Also, during this process, when you have introduction to various vendors and people selling different things, do not buy anything that you don't need, especially those tactical gears and t-shirts and stuff like that. You can find them online for way cheaper. I would say that the only thing worth buying is your own photo and maybe your platoon photo, and that's about it. Do not buy anything else. You'll have your gas chamber, which is a quick exercise to prove that the army equipment works and that what happens if it doesn't. And Victory Tower, which is a 40 feet drop from the top using grappling cables. And you'll have your obstacle course, which is a short team course and also an individual course. This is where you also have your first streamers, which are little devices that go on your banner of your platoon, such as the one shown here. It's basically just for brags among the company. You don't really do much with them after you out of BCT. So if you're competitive, you might be nominated and get an award or promotion later if you're not already E4. Oh, and also know that the obstacle course is not required to pass. You also have your first ACFT here to know where you are. You'll be fine. Just do your best. If you don't pass, you'll be trained to pass. Moving towards the end of the red phase, you'll be preparing for the hammer, which is the first challenge, ending the phase, which is the first challenge concluding the phase. You'll ruck for about 4 miles with 20 to 25 pounds. You'll learn about patrol paces and digging foxholes, shown here. You'll stay out in the field for 1 night. You do battle drills. You will have different tactics and lessons learned in the field. You'll be shown how to dig a foxhole. If you see trees, stay the hell away from it, because if you dig them up, roots, they will make your life hell. And if you can't dig your hole deep enough before nightfall, well, you're just gonna have to sleep on the ground, all cold and suffering. At night, you have to pull your security, or even your partner. You will have to watch the enemy crawling into your position. For this and other challenges going forward, prepare your flick or your taps, your field loadout carriers, or your assault panels, whatever they call it now. It's a little rig that you wear that carries magazines and other stuff you might need, canteens, grenades, and stuff. When you get to the PX, make sure you stock up on the anti-chafing cream and your body powder. And just before you step off, you want to use both of these on your bodies, where you rub, especially around the groin area and your armpits and even your neck. I would say take the chafing cream and just rub it all over you. And make sure you put powder inside of your sock, keeping it dry. When you walk, you get hot and sweaty. Without the chafing cream, your legs and groins will start chafing, and it hurts. There's no worse pain. And every piece of fabric will feel like a knife against your skin. So make sure you use it. Keep it dry, change your socks if you have to, care for blisters, and take care of your feet. After coming back from the hammer, you will have your first inspections, and you will get smoked regardless. Even if the guy cleaned the blade before, because they will find shit. They will rig it. They will do bullshit just so they can smoke you. And on this, I have another tip for you. Contraband is actually very easy to hide. You'll have a lot of room and space where you can hide your shit. Civilian underwear is a must-have because the center issue with Army, they are the worst. Your family jewels will suffer, so bring your own and hide them, because you're not supposed to have them. You can hide them between your clothes, you can fold them away, you can have them tucked somewhere. Just hide them. They don't really check for them, even on inspections. If everything looks good, they will not do anything to your gear, and they move on because they don't have time to individually see every item in your locker and stuff like that. So keep everything clean and you'll be fine. You have the ledges on the locker, under your bed. You can keep some stuff there. Your count bags is a good place to hide stuff too. Your pockets inside your pants. And with the hammer over, you're now onto white phase, which is where you do some shooting. It is recommended that you learn about the fundamentals of shooting to save time and ammo. The first range day, you'll rock there with your rifle. You'll be given 25 shots in sequence of 10, 5, 5, and 5. You'll do what is known as zeroing. To find your zero, you'll see your grouping on this target as shown here. So learn the fundamentals and you'll succeed. The Army may not even train you that well. So you'll have about 3 days of zeroing to find your zero. You'll also move on to a range that's known as Lomar. This is for people who cannot shoot straight regardless, but they have good grouping. So they will shoot at targets, and they will have a spotter that can tell you exactly where your rounds are ending up. So let's say you consistently shoot right. So you'll have your iron sights placement in a way that compensate for that. And you would remember that, and you shoot for targets at 175 meters and 200 meters. You'll then move on to your qualification. The first day is pre-qual. During qualification, you have 4 shots to shoot down 40 targets. 23 is required to pass. If you make to 30 shots, you have a sharpshooter badge. If you make it to 36, you get an expert badge. So there'll be 2 to 4 targets that popped up at varying ranges, and they follow a general pattern that you can learn beforehand and memorize at which ranges they pop up. On the qualification day, the day after, if you didn't pre-qual, then you have to qual on your qualification day. Target move just a tiny bit slower. You get about 4 seconds for each targets. So for 4 targets, you get 16, 17 seconds in total to shoot. You have 4 different magazines and 4 different shooting positions. When all targets are popped up and set down again, that's it. Here you get your top shot streamer for the best shot in the platoon, and also you have your best average score of the platoon. I was able to qualify on the pre-qual day with 29 out of 40 shots, and I did not get to shoot again at all. So if you want to go for a sharpshooter or maybe even an expert, and you know you ain't gonna make it, maybe if you didn't get to 23 already, try and miss the rest of them so that you get to shoot again. You may get that sharpshooter badge if you really want it. After shooting with iron sights, you'll be issued CCO, close combat optics. There may be a limited number of these given out, and you'll get to do the same process with them from zeroing to Lomar and then qualify with them again. It is not required to qualify to pass BCT with the CCO. However, the iron sights is a requirement. You'll get an introduction to land navigation, which is about finding your way on a map using your compass and your azimuth directions. Basically, you'll be taught how to do this, and if not, just find the next nerd who's good with a map and a compass. You won't have to worry about it unless you're an officer candidate, of course. During this stage, you'll get your dress uniform manager. You'll go back to your reception battalion and get that done, and also get some extra shots if you need to. Then you'll have a little thing called a sim round, a little paintball training. Your M4s can now shoot sim rounds, so you'll have a little exercise between your platoon mates, and then maybe a competition between the 2 different platoons in your company. And after that, you'll get to the anvil at the end of Whiteface. Same thing as the hammer, except harder this time. 8 miles out, 2 nights. You'll have more battle movement. You'll be more tactical. You'll have more. You'll have face paints. You'll have you have blanks round issued to you. People will start throwing smokes, and they will fire more rounds at night. They'll have just about anything. Automatic gunfire going on in the background, just to keep you up. And after the 2 nights, well, you'll be sleeping in the foxhole stills. And after the second night, you do your land nav on St. Lo navigation course. It's a really easy course, and if things are the same, they will make it easier by having all the points near the road. So you may not even have to use your compass. Just use common sense. You know where you are, you know which directions where things are, and you can just follow roads and look to your left, to your right. You will see the point, mark them down, and you'll be done. Here you'll have 4 more streamers for the CCO, top shot, and average shot. You have the best time for squad and best average time for platoon for land nav. And here's where Blueface begin. You're nearing the end. You'll do more marching and cadence drills. You'll have another locker inspection and another smoke session coming out at you. Your 3rd ACFT, you'll have your end of course tasks regarding knowledge of weapons, gas masks, land nav, general orders, hand signals, tourniquet. You will be fine. If you fail any of these tasks, they'll set you aside. You learn them real quick, then do them again until you pass. You'll be fine. During this phase, there's a week known as Hell Week. When people start getting dropped, one reason or another, they're getting recycled. So you'll prep your RTV, your body armor, and your ACH helmet for the forge, the final challenge. You'll do your grenade thrown, starting out with dummy grenades and 2 real grenades, which is a little anticlimactic because you don't get to see them go off. You can only hear them in the background. They don't really make a lot of boom. You'll have Omaha, which is a live, which is a buddy fire course. You'll shoot blanks and then live, alternating between you and your buddy, moving across 2 lanes, shooting at targets, while being supervised by your drill sergeants. You'll then prep for the forge, which is the ultimate challenge of BCT. Wrecking 35 miles at about 12 miles out. You'll step off early or later, depending on how the weather is. For myself, I stepped up at 0030, so half an hour past midnight, and I arrived at 4:30, 4 hours later. We sleep outside until dawn came, and we start in the foxholes almost immediately. Start building our base. So 3 days of that with battle drills, on security, firing blanks, and you'll have naked fire at the end of it, which is an exercise where you will crawl in the sand through about 200 meters, low crawl or high crawl. There may be a little barbed wire section. You have to crawl real low, and they have a tower that will fire machine guns with chaser rounds just overhead to simulate combat. You will not die from this. There is no risk. The gunfire is about 20 feet up in the air, so you cannot get hit. After which, you may have to ruck back or get transported back if the command team make that decision. It was the same as the others. The anvil and the hammer and the forge. You have to ruck there, but you may not have to ruck back. After you get back to the company, you'll have no sleep. The initiation ceremony begins. You may get martial out to do this, or you will just do it at the company. You will then wear your berets for the first time. Then we'll have your hero breakfast, which consists of steaks, ice cream, and other nice foods like that. After that comes the red, white, and blue face. The end. You'll clean everything. You return your gear, clean your barracks, your weapons. Your HGSU are here. Last minute changes. You have to make up ACFT, and you may have an inspection. You have a final battalion run just for graduation that you have to prepare for, but it's real easy. You practice for family day and graduation, and that's it. You will now graduate and become a US Army soldier. Moving on to AIT. Here's the packing list I recommend you pack. This is based on my experience. Do not pack everything that is on the list given to you by your recruiter or the ones you found online by the Army. Bring as little as you can. Pack light. Stamps and stationery and a notebook would be helpful to write down notes and keep track of how things are for you, which was immensely helpful for me to make this video. You can buy these later at the PX, or just bring one. Bring an extra combo lock. You'll buy 2 in the PX, but there are 3 drawers, so bring an extra one. Bring civilian underwears, please. I cannot stress this enough. Bring them. Bring a bit more extra cash than just $50. $200, $200 will be fine. You'll need favors to be done. You need to buy things. So it's good to have money as backup. And besides, if you lose your $200, it's really not that much money these days. Bring a pair of wired earbuds, just because they get loud, as I mentioned earlier. Power banks, self-explanatory. You can go as far as bringing enough power supply for 10 charges between each week. Tip for the phone is to turn them off after every time you're done before putting them away, because they will be on for a whole week before you get them again every Sunday. And sometimes you don't even get to them for 2 weeks because somebody fucks up and they will take away phone privilege. Your civilian outfit on you. Bring a light hoodie or a jacket. Don't bring too much clothes, or any clothes at all except for underwear and maybe undershirts. Where would you running shoes? You may get to wear them during BCT because the one they issue sucks. Or some tryhards also bought combat boots that are Army regulations, but they are nicer than the issued one because, again, the basic training boots fucking sucks. They will ruin your feet. You will hate wearing them for the first few weeks and maybe for a while after that, because you will get blisters and it hurts all over, especially if they don't fit you properly. Bring all your paperwork in a little folder or binder and keep them organized and secured. A small travel-sized hygiene kit that's good for about 1 week will do you just fine. And you'll want to fit everything in one personal backpack, because once you're out of BCT and either going home or to AIT, you'll have 2 to 3 duffel bags that have all the stuff the Army give you that you will have to bring. For like myself, I am a hoarder, so I did have more than I came with from people leaving their stuff behind. And with that, let's move on to the extra tips. For most of you, you'll get your MRE pretty soon. Maybe the first meal the Army will give you. You will often have less than 15 minutes to eat one. You can see the review on one of them before you get your hands on one to know what's in them. This is what I find to be the most optimal way to utilize them. First, I'll open the heater, take a little sugar water, spit in them, get them warm, get them heating right away, and then put that with your main course inside of the cardboard sleeve, along with other stuff like little tortillas or a little cheese packet or anything else you want heated, and you'll start eating the snacks. You start with the savory snacks, save some for later. You make your drink, you prep your grain like your crackers or your little bread with cheese or sauce. You can also heat these in a couple minutes. You'll flip your main course after a couple minutes. You want to save some of the savory snacks or nuts to eat with your main course. Use your hot sauce if you have it or ask for it. You can also trade for stuff with your buddies. You can also save your coffee and other stuff as a borrowing currency. Salt can be used as a throat gaggle because you will get sore throats with nothing else to help. Aside maybe cough drops, but also that's a different thing. You will want to use both. Wet wipes and paper are good backups to have if you have no toilet paper left in the bay, or backups in the field if you need to take a shit. Just keep some in your flick. There's plenty of room for them. Another tip is that when people leave BCT or during BCT, you'll have people not securing their stuff. After a while and that stuff is still unsecured, feel free to grab them for yourself. You'll want them as backups or extra gear for later. You want to keep your gear and return those to the army. So keep them in case you need them later or lost your own, but just don't steal from people, please. It's part of the problem. So before shipping out to BCT, you should learn just a tiny bit about the general rules, the vibe of the army, learn stuff like the Soldier's Creed, the army songs, and your general orders, because you maybe get quiz on them, and you'll get smoked if you fuck them up. You want to start running a little bit and start rucking. Be somewhat fit. Start pushing up a lot. It's actually very easy to pass the ACFT if you're average to healthy. If you're an athlete and doing sports already, don't even worry about it. You will pass the ACFT. During free time, you can start making games out of your scratch papers, like checkers, cards. You will do other things like slap boxing or wrestling in the bay with the guys. You guys will figure it out. One extra tip here is to start banking with either Navy Federal or USAA. These are two great institutions that offer benefits to service members and their family. Especially if you're young with no banking history or no credit, this is a good place to start because Navy Federal is very lenient with their credit cards, and they will give you one with a high limit that will build your credit history very fast, especially if you're a soldier. Now on to naturalizations. The process goes a little something like this. You will start with your N400 and your N426. The battalion commander, well, the brigade commander, an 06, a colonel, will have to sign that N426 before you can use that. The battalion will start naturalization for all new trainees as soon as week 1, and you will have your N426 and your N400 filed immediately. Depending on how that goes, you may get naturalized by the end of BCT, but for some cases, such as myself, I did not get naturalized at the end of BCT and had to work on mine. You will have to check with USCIS, calling them to check on your status. If there's been no file in your name given your social security, you will have to start a new case. If you go to AIT, tell your drill sergeant immediately that you need an N426, and after that, have a scanned copy emailed to you, or you can scan them on your phone, and then fill out an N400 on uscis.gov. The online form will help you, and then you can just wait for that interview whenever it comes. Overall, that's a little bit about naturalization. It could take as long as 1 year or even longer for some cases, but you'll be an American citizen sooner or later. Well, this is where I'm going to end the video. If you guys have any more questions about BCT, any process regarding naturalizations, or anything else, leave some comments and I will get to them.